Hello everyone, today is a big day for VR. As you can see, I'm showcasing one of, if not the first instance of waterbending in VR. This game is called Magitek VR, and I've covered it on the channel before. We've seen its progression throughout the multiple alphas and betas as it adds more and more elemental powers. I've shown you fire, air, and most recently earth. However, just the other day, Magitek released an update introducing its new water magic for the first time. I say that this is a big deal because no other VR game has taken on this challenge. Water is tough to get right due to the way it moves and how the player interacts with it. Today, I will be showcasing all 10 abilities and the one passive. But before we do that, I want to talk about the channel's first ever giveaway. That's right, the Magitek developers were able to hook me up with a key to the Quest version of their game, and I will be giving it away to one of you. All you gotta do is like the video and comment down below which ability is your favorite. I'll be choosing one comment at random after a couple days, so make sure you go ahead and comment as soon as possible. Like I mentioned, I'm pretty sure this code is only for the Quest version of the game. Alright, with that out of the way, let's dive right in. So the first ability is Splash. The description says, a water splash that will do light damage in a moderate area of attack. I think the effect looks pretty cool, and water was in desperate need of a basic attack like this. The second move is Water Whip. The description says, summon a water whip that can be shot forward and returned to your hand. Very effective at hitting enemies at long range. Like the description says, it's good at long range, but it doesn't do too much damage. Overall, it's a decent move. Next is the Water Tentacle, one of my personal favorites. The description says, summon a Water Tentacle, a powerful ability that can swipe, grab, and throw enemies. Any part of the environment can be gripped with the tip of the tentacle. You can then swing or pull yourself up, making it a great ability for exploring. I love this one a lot because, as the description mentions, you can grab basically anything, even the ground, and like boost yourself forward. It's super fun, and you can even deflect certain projectiles as well. The next move is Water Ball. The description says, a ball of water that can be manipulated and combined with other water sources to grow larger. Doing moderate damage, this ball can also be used defensively. Targeting the water ball will turn it into a powerful ice attack. Simply put, the water ball is the basic attack of the bunch. You can do a lot with it, but on its own, it's not super special. Now, one of these abilities that goes with the water ball is called Ice Bomb. The description says a very cold frost attack that will freeze everything around it. All you do for this one is slow the water ball down and then press the trigger, and it will explode in an ice bomb. Next up is the Ice Shard. The description says, a sharp ice shard that can penetrate enemies and the environment. Ice shards can be collected once cast and used to scale walls or stab enemies with. I really like the Ice Shard, and it's super easy to cast, but sometimes I get it mixed up with the Splash ability, so there's that. Next up is Ice Shuriken. The description says, fast summon an Ice Shuriken. Deals high frost damage, but does require some skill to be accurate. Now I really like this ability, mostly because it's very easy to cast and does a lot of damage. The Shuriken looks good, and so does the animation. Not that difficult to aim as well. Very good move overall. Next up is Frost. The description says, a frost spray that can freeze enemies and the environment. Freezing the ground will create a slippery surface that will give you a speed boost thanks to your passive. I guess now would be a good time to mention the passive for water, which is Ice Walker. This passive just lets you move faster on ice, that's all it does. So basically, when you spray the ground with ice, you can run on it like Frozone, and that is super fun. Next up is Ice Storm. The description simply says, a blast of ice shards that is super effective at close range. I do really like this ability, and it is super useful because it does a lot of damage, and it also looks really awesome when you do it. The last ability is called Snap Freeze, and it's not really a move, but the description says, target a wet enemy to freeze it instantly. You need to be close to the enemy to do this. So basically, a new thing in this update is when you hit an enemy with a water attack, it will become wet. This is apparent by the water particles dripping off of it. So you can use this move when you get close to it, which will freeze the enemy. All this does is continuous damage, so they're still able to move. So that is all of the abilities for this update. However, there are some other changes that are listed in the changelog on the Magitek VR Steam page. So before the video ends, I'm just going to read all of these off. First up, frost damage is added to the damage system. Frost damage will appear blue on damage numbers. Water abilities now put out fire abilities. Water abilities can slow down incoming earth abilities. All water spells can wet enemies. Enemies can now be frozen with frost abilities and defrosted with heat abilities. Frozen enemies can be shattered with a physical attack. Enemies can be wet. Wet enemies will be slower and can be frozen easier. Players now have more control when walking on ice. And finally, a crashed airship has been added to the story mode map. In parentheses, more on this later. And no, water has not been added to the arena yet, which is unfortunate. Speaking of the story map, I know I did that one part of the playthrough that one time, but I don't think I'm going to be finishing that. I think I'm going to wait for a more official playthrough once the game has been fully released. As in when the game is fully done. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you comment down below and enter that giveaway. I'll be picking someone random after a couple days. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching. I had a blast recording this and playing around with the new water abilities. Hopefully I'll have some great updates for you guys in the future. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!